स्वाध्याय टीवी। डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी।
Namaskar dear students, I Dr. Himanshu Patel welcome you from the Chaitanya studio of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University. We are in lecture series on Java programming. In last lecture, we have discussed about method, class and methods. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about method overloading. So, what is method overloading is, we discuss all about method overloading. It is one of the way that Java implements polymorphism, that is the use of one thing for different purposes, and method overloading is one of the Java's most exciting and useful features. Now, we define what is method overloading is. So, Java can distinguish between methods and different method signature. The prototype for method is called signature in Java. If method within class have the same name, but if it takes different parameter, then this is known as a method overloading, and these methods with same name are said to be overloaded. That means, we have same method, but with different number of parameters is known as a method overloading. Now, how can we overload method in a class? So, there are three ways to overload method in a class. The first way is to use different number of parameter in argument list. So, it is very easy for compiler to check which method to execute depending on number of parameters. So, it is the simplest way of achieving method overloading, because there are method name is same, but the number of parameters are clearly different. So, it is very easy for compiler. The second case is different in data types of arguments. Suppose what happens if two method have same number of parameters. So, at that time compiler may confuse which method to execute. In that case, what we can do is, we can have different data type for method overloading. So, the number of parameters are same, but since the data type of argument is different, it is again easy for compiler to choose which method to execute when number of arguments are supplied. The third way is to use sequence of data type of argument. Now, suppose parameters are same, the type is same, what we can do is, we can provide user with flexibility that they can provide data in any order. For example, if we have short method which takes two parameter, one is an integer array and another is type, which determines whether to sort data in ascending order or descending order. So, what we can provide user is, either array can be provided first and type can be provided second, or type can be provided first and array can be provided second. So, this is how we can also achieve method overloading to provide flexibility to user. So, these are the three ways in which you can overload method in Java. Now, we take example of each. So, first case is where method has a different number of parameters. So, here on screen you can see we have three methods. The first method is a max method with double array as a parameter. So, it finds maximum of array element provided as parameter. So, it has only take one argument. Now, suppose we want to find maximum of two numbers, we can write down second case where there are two parameters of type double and it returns maximum of these two value. And third case where there are three double variables are there and we want to find maximum of 3. So, we can use third case. So, here it is very easy for compiler to check. If I provide array as argument, it will execute first. If I provide two double value, it will execute second definition, and if I provide 3 arguments of type double, then it executes third definition. So, this is a first case where there are number of parameters are different. The second case is here there are difference in data type of argument, because it has a same number of argument, but the type of argument is different. So, in first case we want to find out maximum of 2 from double values, and in second case we want to find out maximum of 2 long value. So, here the number of parameters are same, but what different is the type of parameters. So, this is how we can also achieve method overloading. Now, we discuss third case where the sequence of data type is different. So, here as I mentioned earlier, the sort method is there which actually sort array of integer provided as argument, and second argument specifies whether we want to sort array in ascending order or descending order. So, what we can do is we can define two sort methods. The first method has a integer array as a first argument and type as a second argument, and in second case we have type as a first argument and array as a second argument. So, this is also an example of method overloading. Now, how it works? So, as we discussed earlier, first compiler check whether overload method has how many arguments. If the number of arguments are matched and its type matches, then compiler will execute that definition. But suppose method have same number of parameters, then compiler will check its type, and depending on type it executes particular definition. So, when an overloaded method is called, Java determines type and or number of arguments to determine which version of the method to actually call. Here on screen you can see various examples of max method. So, in first max method we provide integer values. So, definition with long argument will execute. In second case definition with double parameter is executed. In third case 3 long parameters definition is executed, and in fourth case 3 double parameter definition will be executed, and in last case if we assume that A is a array of type double, then that definition will execute. So, this is how method overloading works. Now, what you have to remember is the first thing is you cannot declare more than one method with the same name and same number and type of argument. So, either number of parameters should be different or their type should be different. Second, you cannot declare two methods with the same signature even if they have a different return type. This is important. Why? Because in signature we have return type as well as parameter, but method overloading only works based on parameter number and parameter type. So, return type does not matter, or it does not taken into consideration while calling overloaded method. So, you cannot declare method with same parameter, but different return type. They are considered ambiguous or confusing by the compiler. So, these two things you have to remember. Now, we have different types of methods available in Java. So, which method can be overloaded? As mentioned earlier, if method has a different parameter or type, then we can overload any method. Now, we consider two special types of method. One is constructor. So, in previous lecture, we discussed that we can overload constructor to initialize data of class. So, you can overload constructor or you can define multiple constructor in class, and the main method, which is a primary start point of execution of your program, can also be overloaded. So, you can also overload main method as well as constructor and any method with certain condition that we have discussed. So, these three types of method we can overload. Now, we take examples of overloaded constructor. These we have discussed in last lecture also. So, here we have class time with two parameters, class variables, hours and minutes. So, first constructor will initialize both value to 0 and second constructor initialize these two class variable by the argument provided. So, this is how we can define overloaded constructor. You can have other constructor also which initialize only one value. So, this is how we can define overloaded constructor. Now, we take example of how to overload main method. So, the standard definition of main method is a public static void main, and it takes string array as a argument, and in these you can see another definition of main method which is public static void main, but here we have instead of string array we have one string variable passed as a argument and it displays that value on screen, and we have called this main method inside this main standard definition to display main method code, and then we call this overloaded method with hello world. So, it displays main method code and then hello world. So, this is how you can overload main method if you require. Now, we discuss method overloading, but whether you did get the point or not, let us take one example so that you can understand whether how overloaded methods are work. So, here we have different definition of overloaded methods and you have to decide which is a valid or not. So, here in first case we have two methods with name max. The first method has a two integer parameters and second method has also two integer parameter, but here the name of parameter is AB and here the name of XY. So, you have to tell whether it is valid or not. This is not valid. The reason is that you can have different parameter type or different number of parameters. So, here the parameter are same and of same type. So, this is not valid even though the name of argument name is different, but this does not make any sense. So, this is not valid. Now, we take second case. Here we have max method with two integer argument and second max method has a two float argument. So, here compiler can easily determine which method to call based on its type. So, this is a valid. Why? Because parameters are same, but the type is different. So, we can say this is a valid definition. The third definition we look at is here we have one parameter is of type integer and another parameter is of type float, and in second case we have one float parameter in first position and integer parameter in second position. Still compiler can distinguish between these two because number of arguments are same, their type is same, but the sequence is different. So, compiler can easily determine which method to call based on arguments provided. So, this is also a valid definition. The fourth definition we look is integer max with 2 integer argument and return type is float, name is max and 2 integer argument. Again, in case of method overloading, we can have either different parameter or its type. So, here only difference is in return type, which does not matter in case of method overloading. So, this is a invalid definition. The last definition we see is a display which takes 2 parameter in first case and 1 parameter in second case. So, this is a, you can say, valid because the parameters are clearly different in numbers. So, compiler can easily determine. So, I hope you understand how method overloading works. Now, we will demonstrate how to overload methods by various programs. So, let us start in NetBeans. So, now you already know how to add class in your program. So, here I have written 3 different programs to demonstrate various aspects of method overload. The first example takes main as a overloaded method. So, here this is a standard definition of our main method, and as discussed earlier, it calls these overloaded method which takes string as a argument, and inside main method we display this message main method called, and then we call overloaded method by passing message hello world. Now, we want to test this program. So, what you have to do is you have to right click on these and select run file. So, here is the output of our program main method called, and this overloaded method displays hello world. So, this is a first example how to overload main method. I hope you understand. Now, we start with another example. So, here I define overloaded max method. We have 5 different max method. Now, we look at those max method. The first max method has a 2 long value a and b, and it returns the maximum of a and b. This logic we have already discussed. So, you can easily understand if a is greater than b, it returns a, if b is greater than a, it returns b, and if both are equal, it returns 0. Now, in case of 3 argument, we have to find out one variable is greater than the other 2 variables or not. So, here we have parameters a, b, c, and first we check a is greater than b and a is greater than c. So, we can say a is maximum. So, we return a. In second else if we write down whether b is greater than a and b is greater than c. So, we can easily say b is maximum. So, in that case we return b. In third case we check whether c is maximum or not. So, we write down c is greater than a and c is greater than b. So, we return c, and if none of the if condition matches, it means either there is a more than one maximum value or all are equal. So, in that case we return 0, where we cannot clearly determine which is a maximum. The third max is a same method, but with double parameters. So, only change is in the type of parameters. The fourth definition is very similar to earlier, but only difference is the type of parameters. So, you can easily understand how it works. The last method takes integer array as argument. Initially, we assume that the first element is a maximum. So, we initialize m with first element and we check from first element to the rest of the elements one by one, and if any variable which is greater than the first element is found, then it will be replaced inside m. So, at the end of these loop we will find maximum in m and we return that value. Now, to check whether it works properly or not, we write down main method. So, here A is a array of type double and here we call all these methods one by one. So, here in first system.out.println it will execute max with long parameters, because we write down 10 and 20 which is of type long. In second case it executes double definition, because max with two double parameters will be executed, since we have passed two double values inside max. In third case compiler will execute definition with three long parameters, and in fourth case compiler will execute max definition having three double parameters, and in last case it will execute max with max with double array as a parameter. Now, we want to test this program. So, we right click on this file and select run file. So, here you can see that maximum of 10 and 20 is 20, maximum of 12.5 and 4.7 is 12.5 and so on. In last case it prints maximum of array element is 1.3. So, actually it finds minimum. So, here we have to make little change. So, instead of less than we have to use greater than. Now, we again run this program. So, now it displays maximum of 6.6 and that you can verify from these data. Here the maximum value is 6.6. Now, we take third example where number of parameters are same and of same type, but the sequence is different. So, here we define two short method. The first short method takes integer array as argument and second parameter is type, which determines whether we want to sort data in ascending order or descending order. So, here we take one element at a time and compare it with rest of the element using inner for loop, and suppose our type is A, which means we want to sort data into ascending order. So, what we do is we compare I with rest of the element, and if any element which is less than I is found, then we exchange these I element with jth element using temporary variable t. So, these logic, if any element which is less than the ith element is found, it will be replaced by jth. So, these logic performs exchange depending on value. Now, what happens if ascending is type is D or not A, then these else if condition is true. So, if type is D, that means we want to sort data in descending order, we just replace less than with greater than here and the other logic remains same. So, how this sorting works? It starts with 0th element, compare it with rest of the element. If we want to sort in ascending order and any element which is less than the first element is found, it will be replaced by that element. This process continues, and if we want to sort in descending order, any element which is greater than ith element is found, it will be exchanged with ith element and process continues. At the end of these loop, we will sort array in ascending or descending order depending on the value of type. Now, another sort method is the same logic, but the argument sequence is different. Here the type is written first and array is written second. So, again we need not to write down same logic. What we can do is we can call another sort method inside this sort method, but this time we provide A as a first and type as a second. So, it will call previous method which is we discussed recently. Now, we want to check how it works. So, we write down main method for testing these. So, here we have integer array with random values that we want to sort. So, what we write down is we first call first sort method with array as a first argument and type as a second argument. So, we now call this sort method. So, what will happen? Data is sorted in ascending order since we provide type as a and these for loop just displays array element one by one starting from 0 to its length minus 1. Now, these array A is already sorted. So, what we can do is we can define another array with same elements, but now at this time we give it name B, and now we call second sort method where type is specified first and array is specified second. So, again these will sort B. So, here we display array B in descending order because now it is in descending order, and these for loop displays element of B one by one. Now, we want to test this program. So, we go to project, then select this file and select run file. So, here you can see that array is sorted in ascending order and in second case array is sorted in descending order. So, we can see that we can have overloaded method with same purpose, but the sequence of argument is changed. So, now we have discussed 3 examples. You can write down one program yourself. So, I want to give you one exercise. So, on screen you can see our exercise. So, you have to write a program to overload method called add to calculate and return first sum of 2 integers, sum of 2 real numbers. If string is provided argument, you want to join them, and you have to sum of array elements if array is provided as argument, and finally, you have to sum 2 time object. We already discussed how to sum 2 time in previous lecture. So, you have to write down these exercise. Now, let us sum up. So, in today's session, we have learned what is method overloading and how it works. We have also learned that any method, constructor and even main method can be overloaded. I hope you enjoy this session. Thank you and happy learning.
स्वाध्यायः परमं तपः।
स्वाध्याय टीवी